Yeah, I mean, so far at this point, we're going to practice 11 here tomorrow. I mean, spring's going pretty good right now. I like where we're at. Obviously, the guys took advantage of the time this fall here to get bigger and stronger. We're definitely, you hear all the things Coach Spanos was saying about the defense and Coach Joffrey saying about the offense, but we're definitely moving better. We're stronger. The guys are a little bit more mature. We still technically have a young football team, but we got a lot of guys who've been here for a while that understand what the expectations are, and we're seeing it. We're a lot more competitive than we've ever been here this spring. Just going through the things that we do. I like where we're at. Obviously we've got a bunch of new young guys that are going to get in the mix, whether they're here last year and they get a chance to play as freshmen, or the new guys we got in here this fall or this spring, or guys that are really going to be able to factor in for us here this fall. So happy where we're at. Obviously, I'm happy with where kicker position's at right now. We got 3 guys that are doing a really good job this spring. All 3 of those guys are doing really well. Even Joe being the youngest guy coming in here this spring, he's really had a good spring so far, right? And then punter position right now, Hayden coming in from Australia, getting caught up on some things with him, but he's starting to really put it together. And I'm happy where we're at. You got some good options here at returner position coming back. We really haven't had a ton of depth at that position the last few years since I've been here, but I think we've got a bunch of guys right now at the back end that can do some things with the football and create some big plays. So I'm happy where we're at right now. We're going to keep grinding here through the next 5 practices, but we're definitely taking steps from where we were before.
All right, thanks. And we'll go into questions. Just put your hands up if you have a question. Gavin, go ahead.
Coach, I was looking at your bio. You were quarterback at the University of New Haven. How does a quarterback and become a special teams coordinator? How did that journey go?
A long time ago. It started, I graduated from New Haven, and I got my first job working at Hofstra in 2003. Joe Gardy was head coach, legendary guy. Coached for the Jets for a long time, but he was a special teams guy, there at Hofstra, and he was really into it. And so I started to get a little niche for it there, working with the offense, helping out in special teams. Ran a unit my second year when I was at the junior college level out in Kansas. But then when I got to Rutgers, I played for Darren Rizzi at New Haven. He was the head coach. He's now the special teams coordinator at the Saints, was at Miami Dolphins for a long time, but he was at Rutgers at the time as special teams coordinator. And he kind of brought me in there with him, and I worked with him with special teams for 3 years there, and that's where it started. So, I would say Darren's really the guy that kind of molded me and took me in that direction. Then we went to Rhode Island. He became the head coach at Rhode Island. I went with him there for a year, and then he moved on to the NFL. But he was really the guy who got me into it. So since really 2005, I've been strictly working with special teams pretty much my whole career.
And what do you like about it?
Everything. The thing that I think special about it is I'm the only coach besides the head coach who gets to coach every player on the team. I get special team meetings are usually like team meetings. I like that part of it. I like, taking that third phase and making that third phase of the game an impact in the football game. I think it's something that, in recent years, it's starting to get more notice, but I think that's still an undervalued part of the game. That can really, those 25 to 30 snaps a game can have huge impacts in the course of a football game. Particularly in programs like we are right now, where we're building this thing, to take a step, we need to play great special teams. And that might help us beat some teams that maybe we're not more talented than right now. But, I love the aspect of you got one shot, one play, right, to make something happen, right? And you got to go get it done. There's no excuses.
And just one more on what makes Brian a good long snapper, and what kind of skills do you need to be a good long snapper?
I think the thing that makes Brian really good at what he does is his work ethic. He works at it. He works at it every day, and he puts the time. There are different skills being a long snapper than a kicker or punter, being a specialist than there are, being a linebacker or being a wide receiver, but they're all the same. You got to work at what you do. And I think what makes Brian really good at it is he works at it. He's relentless. He's out there every day. He knows what drills to work on to get better. His hand speed, his flexibility, all that stuff comes into play. And I think that to be a good long snapper, one, you got to be able to bend over and you got to have some good flexibility. He's got really good flexibility. He can get his arms through, but I think without a doubt, it's his work ethic and the way he approaches every single day that kind of separates him from a lot of other guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Maggie, go ahead.
On the same topic of Brian, you've seen him since 2018 from your first season here. How has he grown in that almost now 4-year period? And what did he do during this 2020 long off season that really helped the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with Brian, I think, is just he's grown up, and when I first got here, he was still seemed like he was a puppy, and just from a maturity standpoint and not bad stuff, but just he's a man now, and he knows what it takes to be successful, to do his job at a high level, and he does it every single day, and he goes about his business the right way. And that's something you always deal with. Maybe some younger guys coming in, they're talented, but they're not really sure how to handle the day-to-day of being a college athlete. Brian knows how to do that, and he knows how to do that at a high level, and he mentors the other young guys in our room, which is critically important, I think, especially for our positions. So, I think that's the biggest change I've seen in Brian throughout the past 3 years, is really just where he's gone from a mental, toughness standpoint from his first year to where he is now. I'm extremely happy about where he's at.
And during what would have been the 2020 season, instead of not playing and not practicing and just conditioning, where did you see him impact the team most?
Yeah, I think just his attitude and his positivity. And he's one of those guys who's always positive, whether it's in the weight room, at practice. He always brings the juice. A little bit goofy at times, but I think the guys respect that, and I think it was a tough year. There's no question it was a tough year for everybody. But just having a guy like that who's got the positive energy all the time, I think is critical for makeup of a football team, and he's definitely got it.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Sean McFarland.
Hey Eddie, just wondering what you've seen out of Joe McFadden so far. He came pretty highly regarded out of Texas, and has he kind of lived up to the high billing he came with the first few weeks of spring ball?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, and Joe's very talented. He's got, I think there's a lot of, you hear me say this a lot, but there's a lot of talented kickers that come out of the high school level. But what separates those guys, from being able to play right away or being able to step into the role, right, and have success is really their mental makeup, and can they handle that part of it. And Joe's got the right personality. He's got the right makeup for it. And I think that's going to be critically important as we finish up next week. We go into training camp, and these guys are competing for the job. Really for all three of these guys, it's just where they are mentally. I think we're in a good spot with all three of those guys, but I think Joe's got it. He's got a great personality. He's doesn't get rattled much. I tell this guy, you're going to miss some kicks in practice. That's all part of it. He doesn't let it affect him. He bounces back, and he knows what he needs to work on. He knows, he misses a kick, and you talk to him about it. He knows exactly what he did. And I think that those are all important for kickers, particularly young guys, as they come in, they're going to be competing for a job, to have that mental makeup. And he's got the right mentality. He's definitely got the ability. And again, he's, like I said, he comes with a lot of ratings and all that, but he also played at high school where he's kicked in some big games. So it's not going to be new to him if he's put in that situation during the season. He's kicked in front of, 20,000 people in the Texas State Championship game. So he knows what that's about. I think there's a lot of positives there. He's still a young kid. He's got to keep working. He's got to keep grinding. But he's got great work ethic, and he's got a great mental makeup, which goes along with his skill. I think sets him up to have a lot of success here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything for Eddie?
Hey, Pat.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey, in return game, what are you guys looking at in that regard, both from punt and kickoff standpoint? I'm guessing this is a time to experiment with what you have there.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of guys right now we're looking at. Like I said, I think this is from a depth standpoint, we've got more guys at that skill position part of it than I think we've had here since I've been here. Guys who can do things with the ball in hand, not just go back and catch the ball and whatnot. So, look, you got guys like Cam Ross, Keenan Marion, Brian Bruton, He's got a lot of talent. He got a lot of success in high school back there. Doing what he did. Devontae Houston's electric. Josh Tracy's really starting to flash out here on the field. So, what I'm looking for, right, is really guys who have that skill to create the big hits. And I think we have plenty of those guys back there. And then it's going to take everyone out. The other 10 guys in front of those guys catching the ball need to be able to do their job effectively so that we can, have those opportunities for those guys to make the plays that I think we can make now with the guys we have. I'm really happy with the guys we have back there. And I think it's going to be good competition here going through training camp to find, who the guy's going to be. But we have options, and we're in a good situation right now. We just got to keep building these guys, get them reps and get them, mentally ready to go.
You rattle off a pretty long list there of some of the young guys that bring some speed. Does that speak to the improvement of the overall team speed that you've seen, not just on special teams, but that you're seeing on the practice field?
Absolutely. I think that's, that's how you build your program, right? We went out and we identified over the last couple of years that the type of players we needed to get in here to be successful. We went out and we got them, and we have players now that can do those things that we need them to do with the ball in their hand, whether it's on offense or special teams or, guys on defense in the secondary. But we have guys, that have that talent now that can do some things, with the football in their hand. And that's exciting to me, because it allows us to be able to get a little more creative in what things we're going to do in the return game and try to set some more things up. But, we're definitely at a better place than we've been. And just from a depth standpoint of having, multiple guys who can do things with the football that can be electric and help us. So, like I said, I'm excited about all these guys. You throw Haran in there too, Ja'Kai Gill. We got a bunch of guys back there that can make plays for us in the return game. We just got to figure out who the right guys are going to be. Let the cream kind of rise here and who the best guys are and figure it out. But we got plenty of options.
And a final question from my side. Luke obviously left the program at the punter position. So having to replace the team captain as well as a guy that can really kick the ball. What's the current situation there? Is there a competition there?
At the punter spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's competition everywhere. Hayden came in from Australia, right? And I know he's an older guy, but there are some adjustments he got. They don't have long snappers in Australia; they have punters. So getting him caught up on catching the snaps and being comfortable with people rushing them and all that stuff is all the stuff you work with. You got to deal with when you go out and get an Australian guy. It's no different than they went through here when Luke was a freshman. So we're building him up right now. Blake Otto was having a decent spring here before he got dinged up. Joe McFadden can punt. So we're going to have some options back there too, and competition will go as it goes, like every other position. We chart everything we do, and the kids got a running tally of where they are and everything they do. So we'll kind of see where it plays out as we go into training camp. But Hayden's working really hard right now, getting caught up, and he's gotten a lot better here the first 3 weeks, getting more comfortable with guys rushing, doing all that. But we'll continue to grow there and get in the training camp where we're going to figure out who the best guy is going to be, and that's what we'll roll with.
Just speaking of Hayden, what is it about Australian former rugby players that make them outstanding punters, it seems, and it seems more and more colleges are looking to that area of the globe to fill that need. Yeah,
they got some people out there that do a decent job training these guys when they get into it. But just talking to Hayden about this too is how it started when they grow up, kicking balls down there. That's really soccer, rugby, whatever it is. That it's like us playing baseball in America or football in America. At a young age, they grow up just everyone knows how to kick a ball. He said so. That's really kind of what they do down there, from a young age. So it's just something that kind of comes natural to them. And, these guys can do a bunch of different things with their different type of kicks and all that just because they've been doing it their whole life. So, that's really what I think the thing is that those guys just, they grow up doing it, and it's something that they have a lot of experience doing. And, it just carries over, once they get trained in how to do it in a football field. So